For some people, paddling provides an entree to the natural world, an opportunity to get away from the stresses and strains of urban living. There are others who see paddling as much more, in that it can expose us to a wide variety of environments besides natural areas. These people also value paddling through urban and industrial areas for what this reveals about the river's history and the surrounding architecture. These days we are used to experiencing things at highway speeds. We speed through neighborhoods, we don't slow down. A canoe or a kayak forces us to move much more slowly and to experience things much more as a whole, rather than just as something seen through a windshield. The Chicago River, with its forks, branches, canals, and locks, is one of the most historic and most fascinating watersheds in the world. There are places that could not be more industrial, and others which feel much like a wilderness. To paddle through the loop is just as awe-inspiring as paddling through some of the canyon lands in Utah. We paddle by the Kinzie Street Bridge, where a pile driver inadvertently punched a hole into the tunnel system underlying the loop, which then flooded most of below-ground Chicago. Shortly before arriving at our takeout at the confluence with the infamous Bubbly Creek, the south branch of the Chicago River, we had the opportunity to go under these famous Chicago lift bridges. The North Branch of the Chicago River is another component of the watershed. The river flows south through heavily urbanized suburbs, but is mostly surrounded by forest preserves. It begins a short way above the Skokie Lagoons, and is frequently paddled from the lagoons south to Lene Woods, which has been designated the Ralph Rees Water Trail. Ralph, who recently passed away, began a New Year's Day paddle on this reach of the river 29 years ago. This year's paddle was designated as a memorial to Ralph.
This tedious journey, won't you take my hand? Let me sleep now. Let me sleep now. Let me in this tedious journey. Won't you let me sleep? Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me, Lord. All alone this tedious journey, won't you walk with me? Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. All alone this tedious journey, won't you walk with me? Take my hand, Lord. Take my hand, Lord. All alone this tedious journey, won't you take my hand?
Just about every major city in the U.S. is there because of a river. Rivers were the original superhighways, bringing travelers, settlers, goods, and damming the rivers brought power. Over the last century, these rivers became primarily receptacle as effluent as their general use declined. They were largely ignored. Until fairly recently, they were seen as a somewhat unwanted piece of our industrial past and were treated accordingly. Gradually, cities like Rockford are becoming aware that these rivers can be far more than an effluent depository or a trash dump. Rockford still struggles with its river. The area above the Fordham Dam has received a great deal of investment. The stretch below the dam is still basically a trash dump. Turtle Creek is a wonderful paddle located about 40 miles north of where I live in Rockford. The creek's upper reaches are beautiful farmland and rural. And the lower reach, starting in the town of Chaudière, runs through the middle of Beloit and then goes into South Beloit in Illinois. The nature of the river is very twisty and turny with lots of little riffles. It's just a wonderful paddle.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me, Lord. All alone, this tear's journey. Won't you walk with me? Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. All alone, this tear's journey. Won't you walk with me? Take my hand, Lord.
One of my favorite paddles in Illinois is the Fox River. From St. Charles to Aurora, it's about 22 miles. The river goes through 4 towns, and you must portage 4 dams. The character of the river changes constantly, from heavily populated to near wilderness, frequently within a very short distance. A number of the towns have stunningly beautiful parks along the river, and there are jogging and bike paths on both sides. I find this reach to be a constantly changing delight.
This tedious journey, won't you take my hand? Let me sleep.